Hey there, and welcome to the latest episode of the Mind Body Health Podcast. And on this particular episode, I want to speak to you about some common phrases that are used, and we hear them all the time, but most people don't really digest the importance of them. I want to stress the importance of them and clarify exactly what they mean and why you need to take notice of them. Because one thing I'm always very big on, I don't just tell people, I'm not never going to just tell you what to do. I'll always explain the why behind it. Now, why is that? The reason is that if you do things too military in terms of like do this, do this, do this, do this, a person may understand that they need to do it in terms of just overall concept of it. But if you don't really understand the why behind it, the real nitty gritty, the real essence of why you need to do something, when you don't feel like doing it, you don't have that voice in your head speaking to you going, I know you don't feel like doing it today, and there's many other things you could do instead. But if you don't do it, this is the repercussion. And that's why it's so important in my career. And it's a big reason for my success and why I've helped thousands of people to transform their lives is because I not just tell people what to do, I explain the why. So that like that, their subconscious, the voice in their head, whatever you want to call it, can talk to them when they don't feel like doing things. And then when you consistently do that, consistently take the right action, then you're completely changing and rewiring yourself, and then you live a better lifestyle. And like I'm always stressing to people, and I stress to you again here on this podcast, be committed to evolving into a better version of yourself. Be committed to evolving into a better version of yourself when you get this precious opportunity. Every single precious day, and they're all precious. Remember, time and life are precious. You get the opportunity every precious day throughout your entire life. Be committed to that. It's a lifelong process. There's no getting to your best. There is no best. There's better. Constantly getting better. So, what are the phrases I want to talk about? Well, the phrase I want to talk about is you are what you eat and you reap what you sow. Okay? Now, again, on a basic concept, if I say to you, you are what you eat, yes, you understand it to a degree, that yes, what I eat is going to have an impact on myself and so on, but do you really understand it? Do you really understand the impact of what you're eating on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis, decades, and so on? Do you really understand it? Because if people truly understood you are what you eat, they would make very different choices in their life, very different choices in what they consume, food wise and liquid wise. So you are what you eat and you reap what you sow. They're very interconnected, especially when it comes to longevity and disease prevention. I'm very big on, and when I say big, I mean very passionate about helping people to live long, healthy, vibrant, fun, energetic lives. Ones where they remain independent, one where they remain free and go out on their own terms, more or less. Because we have been sold a narrative that unfortunately the vast majority of people have swallowed and have been conditioned to believe, which is you may be able to live long, but only heavily medicated. And also, it's basically a guarantee that you're going to end your life with one of the main diseases and you're going to suffer for a couple of years with that and then die because of that disease. This is a narrative that has been sold to people. And people have bought it, people have bought into it, and people expect it, which is absolute insanity. Because, like, if I think back, even 35, 40 years, you always heard of people dying in their sleep. That was quite common. When did you last hear of anyone dying in their sleep? Ever? In the last few years? Rarely. I would imagine that's the case. Can't see here people dying of diseases, this disease, that disease, so on. The reality is they're lifestyle diseases, which means you have an element of control, which means your choices determine what will happen. This is why, again, you reap what you sow. You are what you eat, and many other things that come in with that. But I want to focus on those two for now. So I want to break this narrative because it's a ridiculous narrative, but it's one people have bought into. And unfortunately, it's driven by money. Because the reality, as I always stress, is healthy, happy people makes no money. Healthy, happy people makes no money. So there needs to be narratives sold out there by governments and industries because that's how they make money. If people are healthy, they're not always looking for ways to get healthier. And also, if they're healthy, they're not be buying tons and tons of medication like Netflix subscriptions every single month. It's a reality. It might sound harsh, but it's a reality, you know? So, and happy, if people were happy, then again, they wouldn't be constantly looking for ways of finding happiness externally. And all the different vices that are out there, drink, drugs, cigarettes, gambling, pornography, all these different things. If the government in the world truly wanted healthy, happy people, in a millisecond, it could wipe out all porn websites, could wipe out all advertising around alcohol and drugs. And well, there's no advertising of drugs. Well, hold on, there is pharmaceutical type drugs, because they're drugs, and gambling. Always complain about the gambling, but gambling is basically advertised non-stop everywhere. Alcohol's advertised non-stop everywhere, associated with every type of sport and event and so on. So that's my little rant on that. Healthy, happy people make some money. So you are what you eat. So what you need to remember is our bodies are amazing machines, absolutely amazing machines, okay? Mind-blowing in the way our bodies work internally in all the different 7 systems within and what they do. It's truly mind-blowing and fascinating and miraculous. Our bodies, there's a good thing and a bad thing about how good they are to adapt. Good to adapt because they can adapt to good and bad, which can be good or bad depending on which side. The bad part is like that. If you're abusing your body, while it's not good for your body will adapt to it. And we'll go, okay, look, this is what's happening. It will adjust the way it needs inside. So if you're not getting the right minerals, if you're consuming a very acidic type nutrition plan, the body will leach minerals and so on from the bones. If you're not getting enough calories, the body will start to eat itself. The body will adjust to whatever it needs to do to survive. Store fat, use fat, so on. The body will adjust anything. So even if you're living the worst lifestyle, the body will find a way to survive. It will find a way to have energy. It will find a way to the brain can work to some degree. Not optimally, but to some degree. And this is why when I say to people who live very bad lifestyles, how do you feel? I feel pretty good. How do you sleep? Sleep pretty good. The reality is, chronically fatigued, chronically dehydrated, chronically malnourished, and all that stuff eventually will bite in the ass. That's where it goes to you reap what you sow. So we don't always see things on the external that's reflecting what's actually going on the internal, and also we're not feeling the negative impacts of the way we're living until usually it's too late. And this is why you have to be very aware of you are what you eat, you reap what you sow. You need to really embed them into your brain, because what you do today, your choices today in terms of your nutrition and your liquids will impact your tomorrow. Your tomorrow is literally tomorrow. It's next week. It's next month. It's next year. It's 10 years down the road. It's 30 years down the road. And it'll impact whether you get a disease or don't get a disease. This is why we have to see bigger picture, not just the immediate. If you eat the wrong kind of food, you might have like diarrhea or something tonight or tomorrow. That's an immediate impact. But how about the fact that what you're eating is leading to you getting cancer 10, 20 years, 30 years down the road, or a heart attack, or diabetes? Because we hear so much, and I hear so much from people, oh, this person got cancer or diabetes, had a heart attack, it's terrible, how did it happen? And they always say my answer. It happened because of the way they lived for the last few years, or the last decade, or couple of decades. They don't like facing that reality because, again, we've been conditioned, and we've been given the get-out clause of accepting it. Oh, we're not responsible for anything. These things just happen. Absolute bullshit. You reap what you sow. You are what you eat. Your choices today determine your tomorrow. If you get cancer, there's something that led to that. Your choices, things you were exposed to, because there is things out of your control, there's things within your control. Things within your control are totally within your control. Things are out of your control, you still have control because you control your reactions to them. So different if someone is in a very stressful job, because stress is the worst thing there is in terms of diseases, especially cancer. If you're in a very stressful job and absolutely hate it, you can't control it to some degree. That's the nature of the job. But you can control your reaction. You can leave that job. You cannot allow fear stop you leaving that job. So you're always actually in control of whether it's what you do 100% control or the things you see that you don't control. You are still always in control because you control your reaction. Okay? So I want to really embed into your brain, you are what you eat, you reap what you sow. And I want you to start making better choices. Now, I hope what I've said so far makes sense in terms of what you literally do today impacts your tomorrow, even if it's 20 years down the road. If someone drops dead of a heart attack, they didn't drop dead because of what they were doing in that moment. They dropped dead because their heart was so weak and it was on its final legs that whatever they did in that moment was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's basically it. It's nothing to do with the moment. That was the final moment, while everything happened before. So again, we have to live our lives, again, aware of that reality. We have to live our lives accepting that reality, and we have to live our lives stopping ourselves from taking the easy option of the societal conditioning and what industry and governments want us to believe, in that, oh, we don't have control, and oh, these things just happen, and you just get disease, you just get sick, you just get pain because it just happens, and sometimes, and you're unlucky and poor you, but look, here's a solution that'll ease your pain, it'll keep you alive for longer. You won't have massive quality of life, but you live for longer. All these medications are prescribed, and so on. Money, healthy, happy people make no money. I can't stress it enough. Okay. So once you start conscious of living consciously of what you're doing. So your body is 75% water, your brain's 83% water, zero ability to retain water. So you have to be hydrated. Ideally, everyone should be drinking about 6 liters of water a day. On average, there's exceptions, obviously less, but most people 6 liters. Forget the 6 liters right now. How much are you drinking? And drink more. The next 7 to 10 days, 14 days, consume 500 milliliters extra on what you typically do on average right now, and build on that, and keep working towards about 4 liters. It could take you years and years. You may never get there, but work from where you are now to get into 4 liters, because it hydrates you. After oxygen, water is the most important thing. Water is the most important thing. Then food. If you don't have oxygen for even a few minutes, you start to get brain damage. If you don't have water, truly don't have water for a few days, you're going to die. Maybe a week you might last. That's about it. And food, you can last a couple of months. So that's the kind of order of their importance. But we rarely hear about water and its importance. It's super important. Body and brain. And also, like, so if you don't drink much water, you think, yeah, my brain works well with good memorization, mood, or whatever. You're not even close to your potential. This is the beauty of it. And also, as we age, we're literally dehydrating. Because, like, think of a prune or any fruit, like, it starts to wrinkle up. That's what's happening as you're aging. It's a lot of it's dehydration, so you need to keep hydrated, and even more conscious of it as you get older. Keep hydrating. This is why embed good positive habits now that will serve you into the future. It's why I focus so much on how can I continuously make my body more and more optimum in how it functions, so it serves me for the future. I'm constantly focused on, I am what I eat, and I reap what I sow. I live by those two things, and I stress to everybody I encounter all the time. So that's the water. When you consume then other liquids like coffee, alcohol, teas, soft drinks, energy drinks, alcoholism, I think I said that, they dehydrate you. So you're taking water away from you. Your body needs to be able to constantly detox. We're constantly exposed to toxins. We need to constantly detox our body. Hence why water is so important, as well as keeping us hydrated in general, keeping our muscles again strong and fueled with water, because our body is full of water. So it's really important again to keep hydrated. And the more water you drink, the less the other liquids you're going to consume. Then you look at food. Our body needs nutrients. We need vitamins, we need minerals, we need good fats, we need good carbohydrates, which is literally our petrol or diesel for running our body, contrary to a lot of diets out there that will tell you shouldn't have carbs or keep them very low or wipe them out completely or they're so evil. No, you need carbs, but the difference is there's good carbs and bad carbs. You need good carbs. Focus on good carbs. Same as sugars. There's good sugar, there's bad sugar. Big difference between a Mars bar and a chocolate bar. A banana and a chocolate bar. Huge difference. Same as fats. We need good fats. Big difference between getting a takeaway that's really greasy and fatty, made deep fried in the worst oils you can imagine. Big difference between that and having an avocado or some nuts. Big difference. So not all fats are the same, not all sugars are the same, not all carbohydrates are the same. There's good ones and bad ones. Focus on the good ones. Your health will be fantastic. It's about having a balance of all of them. So if you look at the way people eat, a lot of people don't have breakfast anymore. They don't eat for hours and hours. They're eating unhealthy, convenience, processed food. The more processed food is, the worse it is for you. Look at all the ingredients. You can't recognize most of them because they're not food. They're just chemicals or additives. There's things that are put in to literally make you addicted to that food. It's like even crisps. Crisps are, it's another word for them. What's the American word? Crisps or potato chips. There's literally sugar in most of them. You might think, what, sugar? Sure, they're salty. Yes, but the sugars to make it addictive for you. Now, I mean bad sugar. Remember I said good and bad sugar? So there's stuff put into all foods like MSG, aspartame, all these different things, artificial sweeteners, to make you addicted, to make you want more, to make you crave more, to accelerate your appetite instead of suppressing your appetite. And you eat way more than you need. And you're eating food that's not even really food. It's like all takeaway things, McDonald's, all these places, really bad, not food. You are what you eat. If you live on a McDonald's diet, McDonald's and Coca-Cola, you're going to reap what you sow. It's going to bite you in the ass eventually. It could be in a year, it could be in 10 years, but it will be sometime. If you live off having, let's say, smoothie bowls, smoothies, oatmeal porridge, whatever you want to call it, with loads of healthy toppings, salads, stir fries, tons of fruits and vegetables, which need to be the foundation of everything, because it's all vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, and your immune system is based on that. Your gut health is based on that. Fiber, so important. So if that's your lifestyle, again, you reap what you sow. It doesn't mean you won't get a disease 100%. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but you give yourself a bloody good chance. And even if you do get something, you'll be able to fight it much better because you've got such a strong base to fight with, and then you can accelerate it by adding more to it. Does that make sense? So we need, again, to be focused on the future. What's the future you? What's the future you? What do you want it to be? You want to be someone who's independent and free, and at 90, 100 years of age, you're still independent, moving around, playing with your grandkids. You could do a marathon if you wanted to. You're jumping over fences. You might just be a little slower, a little grayer, that's it, but you can function. You're not dying of a disease. You're on zero medication. Do you want that, or do you want to get to 50, 60? You're already on meds. You get some form of disease in 60s, 70s. You suffer for a number of years. You're on more and more meds. You have zero quality life, and then you go out eventually with your body having literally rotted away itself, dying of disease. It's a choice. Remember, you are what you eat, you reap what you sow. Okay? So I hope this has made sense. I really want this to strike a chord. It's up to you at the end of the day. You make your choices. Just like I make my choices every single day. You make your choices every day. So what are your choices going to be? Let me know. Share it in the comments. I want to know what you think of this episode. I want to know what you think of this topic. I want to know your questions, because if the question stuff are coming in based on this topic, I will make the next few episodes all about this as well. This is a topic I'm really passionate about. It's a topic that's really important for people to hear and really digest and for it to sink in. So I'm happy to talk about this topic and all aspects of it and answer your questions for future episodes. So send me your questions based on what I've said for the last 20 or so minutes. Because I'm going to start wrapping up this episode for now. So I wanted to give you the kind of basis around you reap what you sow and you are what you eat, and give you a bit of context on it and give you a bit of information, and hopefully wake you up in some of the things I've said. Some of you will maybe even get angry about what I said, but if you let it sink in and listen to what I've said, you will realize it's actually the truth. Remember, we're being conditioned to believe that getting disease and all that is like a poor me situation. You reap what you sow. You are who you eat. What you do today determines your tomorrow. Remember all these things, okay? So let me know, share your comments, share your questions, let it below the episode, or put it below the episode, or if you prefer, just contact me privately. You can contact me multiple ways across social media and email and so on. If you love this episode, if you like this episode, please make sure you follow, subscribe. If you're doing such a simple act, which will take you seconds, clicking something, helps the show to get more exposure. And it's all about exposure. People need these messages now, especially at a time when there's so much power behind making sure that people are unhealthy and unhappy. We need to counteract that. So help me by subscribing or following, by sharing this with other people who need to hear this message. And please do leave comments, leave feedback, leave reviews. All those things really happen. So look forward to hearing what you thought of this episode. I hope it really struck a chord. I hope it's a wake-up call for many of you. And I welcome and set your questions and feedback. Okay, so that's it for this episode of the Mind Body Health Podcast. 100 or more other episodes there in the archives that you can check out. If you'd like to know more about our various coaching programs, community products, all this kind of stuff that we provide to help people take things to the next level, let us know. And get out there, live your life fully. Remember, you get one shot at this. Make it epic, make it great. Take that action. Remember, you reap what you sow, you are what you eat, and what you do today turns your tomorrow, and that's in all aspects of life. Have a good one. Take care. And remember, I'm only a message away if I can ever be of help.